What's happening, guys? Welcome into Wake Up Barstool. Hey, guess what? I don't have holes in my pants, okay? So stop talking about my holes in my pants. Look, we got a lot to get to on today's show. College football playoffs yesterday. We're going to recap all of it. Ha! Alabama. We got David Pollack and our guy, Brian Baldinger, stopping by. And NFL Week 18 preview, the Money Corner. And it all starts now on FS1. Who's yours? Let's go, baby! Let's get it on! What's happening, everybody? Hope you're having an excellent Friday. This is Wake Up Barstool. Given the holiday-esque nature of the calendar, we got a very fun and disparate crew for you today. Pretty CFB heavy day. I mean, I look around the room, I see a lot of passionate college football fans. That's how I've cut my teeth. I'm T-Bob Aber. We got Michael Katic, former Indiana great, now leading the charge from the media standpoint. We got our guy, Big T. We got Connor Griffin, and what I must say, a fantastically old school Penn State sweater. Love it.
Thank you very much.
And our girl, Meagan Makin Money, who remains hot in the picks department. Also a massive CFB girly herself. Guys, how are we feeling? I loved yesterday. I love this quarterfinal round. Even though there were a couple of boring games, we did get treated with an instant classic. But even the boring games, I feel like were interesting enough in their results as to set the table for what is a very novel and a very exciting Final Four here.
I think we got to start with Katic.
Yeah.
How's this guy feeling?
I feel great. I actually didn't go out last night.
Wow.
Oh.
No, look
Hey,
at our guy,
Pretty
dude.
surprising.
Look at our
That's
guy,
what we're leading
dude.
with.
Yeah.
We had Ole Miss, Georgia, and we're leading with Katic not going out.
I had a great day yesterday. I had an unbelievable day yesterday. The Hoosiers beat the crap out of Alabama. It was so much fun to watch. It was enjoyable. Maybe the first drive I was nervous, and then after that it was kind of just a blowout. But yeah, the day was great. It ended off great with Ole Miss and Georgia, so we got a little something there.
Yeah, I think, look, man, the thing about Indiana is, and we talked about it all week on this show, and the thing about it is that's who Indiana has been for the better part of 2 years now. Like, that's what we continue to have to wake up and realize. This is not the exception, what you witnessed yesterday. It is the rule. And especially this season, I mean, outside of the Penn State game, in which their backs were truly against the wall, this is what Indiana has done week in and week out. They are more talented than you think. They are more consistent than you think. And they execute at a level in all three phases of the game that is unparalleled by anybody in the country.
I mean, I think you nailed it. Like, the execution that these players have, it's unbelievable. Like, in years past, years that I've played there was just a lot of misassignments, a lot of inconsistent play on, both sides of the ball, special teams. But now it's like it's unbelievable. And Big T said it's like the high school team that is always going to be very, very good, and I kind of agree with that. Like, that high school team you play, that's just always good. You don't have the best talent, but it's always very good. And I think it comes from coaching.
So it absolutely comes from coaching, and you played for SIG. You can speak to that. We'll get to that. And I want to throw to you, T. Real quick, all I'll say is I still maintain this Indiana team has more talent than we want to give it credit for. They have one of the best offensive lines in the entire country full of NFL guys. They've got the Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback. All the skill guys are NFL guys. Like, the only group to me that I look at and I struggle to be like, man, how are they so dominant, is the kind of undersized D-line.
Yeah.
Like, it is a bit, I can't fully understand how the D-line can be the size they are and yet be so consistently disruptive, but not have to add to the rush.
Yeah.
Like, yes, there's simulated pressure, there's a lot of movement, but they just make plays. But, like, that's the only kind of plucky group that I see when I look at this Indiana team. T, what was your takeaway from the Rose Bowl?
Yeah, like I said to Katic, I said it was like a high school team where you don't even need to know who's on the team. Like, for our East Tennessee viewers out there, I think Alcoa High School just won their 11th straight state championship.
Shout out Alcoa.
And I think they're supposed to be a 2A school, but they just keep moving up, and they're going to be in like 5 or 6A.
And they just keep winning?
Because you don't need to know who's on the team. They're going to win the state championship every year. That you just have elite execution and coaching, and like Indiana, they don't miss blocks. They don't miss tackles. Every play just does what it's designed to do. They have 2 awesome running backs. They have 2 great receivers. Like, yeah, they're an awesome football team.
And Mendoza's a kind of a microcosm of that, in that he just doesn't make a mistake.
Yeah.
When he has to run the ball and escape, he did it consistently yesterday. Doesn't put the ball in harm's way for the most part. He's just executing at such a high level. And it's funny because on last night's Roughness, somebody said something about, it's so funny what's happened to Pavia since the Heisman compared to Mendoza. And in a lot of ways, Mendoza is kind of anti-Pavia. In my mind, Mendoza is the anti-everything in the modern culture. All of the cynicism, all of the anger, all of the ill will towards one another that has infected our society through social media and the internet, top to bottom. Fernando Mendoza is here to save us from it all. He brings a sincerity, a joy, and like a genuine kindness to the game that I find to be magnetically attractive. I love you, Fernando.
Katic, do we know, does he have an iPhone? There's no
Yes.
chance.
Confirmed, yeah.
Does he use it?
Yeah.
He's on
He's
like
not on
social
social-
media?
no, not on
Okay.
social media.
He's on
that
LinkedIn,
makes
though.
It's on
sense.
LinkedIn and
Yeah.
YouTube.
Okay.
That's it. He watches YouTube videos.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I love YouTube. YouTube's the best.
But he's with the boys all the time. Like, he's not just like he plays video games in his apartment. Like, he's with the boys. Like, they
Hoggies.
have a good time. Yeah, the Hoggies. So he's not, obviously the things you see post game and his interviews, that's in a unique setting. But like, once he gets with the boys, he's very chill and he's totally cool.
But even that is interesting because the type of person he is, it's easy to be pigeonholed into the Russell Wilson category.
Yeah.
Where Russ is very kind in many ways.
Or the
and I
Kirk
believe he's
Cousins, like
sincere.
everyone says, like Kirk Cousins.
Yes, right. But it doesn't seem like maybe he always is vibing with his boys. So you're saying
Yeah.
Mendoza can even straddle the gap of being the guy that we see in the post-game interviews and maybe having a few cold ones with the biggins.
You're not going to see Fernando Mendoza saying Mr. Unlimited. You're not going to see that. You're just not.
Well, Russ kind of did lose his way a little
He
bit.
did. Russ was the puppy who lost his way.
He did lose. Connor, what does this mean for Alabama?
Well, yeah, God, I don't know where you go for Alabama. You had everybody saying on the broadcast, like, this is embarrassing. Like, this is a really pathetic look for the Crimson Tide. We talked about it all week. I'm not going to bring up certain names. I'm not going to bring up Landon Locker. I'm not going to bring up any of that. But there obviously were people who were saying that Alabama was going to win this game. We saw this Alabama team. I know they went to Athens earlier in the year and they had this great win over Georgia, but then we also saw them face up against Georgia 2 months later, and they were 2 vastly different teams. We saw a very similar version of what played out yesterday in that SEC championship game, except yesterday, I would argue, was maybe 10 times worse. And Kurt Cignetti, the guy, he has clips where people say he's full of it, he's cocky. This guy, no way he believes what he's saying. I fully believe that he believes everything he's saying, and everything that he said, whether it's Ohio State and Michigan suck, whether it's, we beat the crap out of top 25 teams. Like, maybe last year there were moments where it didn't necessarily pan out, but he was not wrong. He was just a little bit early. Now, you're seeing it play out full throttle. They are just a juggernaut.
Well, and he's kind of eliminated any excuse that any new coach could ever make. This face right here is the absolute best. This was after Kalen DeBoer, who is a very good coach in his own right, but just ran up against the most unstoppable force in college football right now. That face. That's after Kalen DeBoer tried to run the 4th down shenanigans where they line up and punt, and then they try to go under center, try to draw them off sides. They call timeout, they come out and try to run the ball. They get stuffed on 4th and 1, and it's just like, bruh. Are you serious?
You're certain that Kalen DeBoer's a great coach?
I do believe so. I know people aren't high on him right now. I believe that. I think he accepted a job and following in the wake of Nick Saban that is about as challenging, even with all the advantages that have been built in, that when you take over that kind of culture, you try to continue your own. I think there's a great challenge in that. I think it's a very tough look that now it's 2 4-loss seasons in a row. Granted, one of those in SC championship, but there's like.
I think Michael Penix and Roma Dunze might have done a lot for his career.
I don't know. I mean, but Kalen DeBoer is also a guy like Signetti who's won at every level that he's been at. And I do think there's a lot of value in that.
Not at Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, he made the playoff. But they have an impossible expectation.
That doesn't mean anything anymore.
I think to the vast majority of schools it would, but to kind of your point and my point, I do believe in the context of Alabama that you're right. Like what Kalen DeBoer is doing at Alabama would be okay and good for a lot of schools, but for Alabama, it's anathema. It's a disaster.
The product, yes, okay, they made it to the playoff. They got to 10 wins. They made it to an SEC championship game. The product is not the Alabama product that we're used to seeing. Yeah. But Big T, I'll ask you this because I know.
But that's the problem. The product, but the product of Alabama that we're used to seeing though was always it's singular for a reason because the product was the number one team in the country year in and year out.
Correct.
Like the closest thing that we have to Alabama now is actually Indiana this season.
Well, yeah, the trenches. That used to be always, you chalk that up as a win for Alabama. It's not the case anymore. But you pointed out, you have Alabama as what, the 4th best job in the SEC?
It might be 5th.
But I mean, we just assume that Alabama has all these resources.
Job, not program.
Job.
Yeah.
We assume
although they might be the 4th or 5th best program now too, but.
Yeah, we assume that they have all this stuff caked in where they could win and anybody could walk into that situation and do totally fine. But in this new age of NIL and transfer portal where the playing field has been even a lot, I don't know if Alabama, anybody could just walk into there and win. And obviously you have the expectations of following up Nick Saban. It's very difficult.
Well, you mentioned NIL and the transfer portal. I mean, look at the Final Four that we got.
Yeah.
We will essentially be crowning a first-time national champion. And obviously Miami's had their time, but it's been a long time.
I've been on this regarding Tennessee in particular, but now I just believe it generally. You should never pay a quarterback out of high school, ever.
I don't think you should pay a lot of people out of high school.
Yeah,
Maybe just
I want Tennessee to have a transfer quarterback every single season until that change. How you can do it changes.
To a man, Mendoza, Beck, Chambliss, Moore. And Moore's kind of interesting because he was signed with Oregon, then they brought in
He's a double
Bo
transfer.
Nix, right? And then he was like, oh, okay, well, actually, I want to play. I'm going to UCLA. I thought it was Nick. It doesn't matter. So he goes to UCLA because he wants to play immediately. He gets humbled, and then he makes the very mature decision and say, you know what? I'm going to go sit behind Dylan Gabriel for a year. I'm going to learn, and then will be my time. But yeah, transfer quarterbacks one and all. And it makes sense. Why would you pay a guy out of high school, especially when they're just going to hold it over you that they're going to transfer every single year, whereas you could go get a proven product and
it'll cost you a little bit more, but you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
And Sig says it all the time, product over potential. Like he'd rather go out and get someone that's proven to show a good product on the field at the college level, and then rather than build, like he's not going to pay someone to come out of high school and go play quarterback right away. He'd rather watch them put a product on the field and prove it at a high level, and then raise a quarterback through the class. You know what I'm saying? But
no, I know exactly what
it's
you're
just
saying.
all this whole transfer portal thing. Like a quarterback doesn't want to sit anymore. They want to play immediately, but they don't understand. Like you have to mature at the college level before you can play. Like it's just
and there's something about winning no matter what level of football you're coaching and or playing at. Signetti's proven that, Trinidad Chambliss is proving that, and that Ole Miss Georgia game. So like in this business, so often we like to pound our chest when we're right? But guess what? We're right just as much as we're wrong. And it's like, I feel like I had a really good read on Indiana, Alabama, but I also said here all week and consistently said Ole Miss did not stand a chance in this game against Georgia, right? Georgia figured something out in the fourth quarter. They've ascended. Ole Miss doesn't have their head coach. And it looked to be true. And maybe that's the craziest part about last night is going into half, Georgia appeared to be in firm control of that game. And yet, here comes Trinidad Chambliss. And I love when you watch a guy just perform, achieve greatness. He stands on his head, 24th quarter points, and they end up knocking off Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs in the Sugar Bowl amidst all the adversity, all the drama, and they're not like Indiana.
This play was crazy.
They're not statistically dominant.
That whole drive looked like NCAA football.
It was crazy.
By the way, T-Bo, I guess you can say Georgia was in control because they were up 9 and Ole Miss had the botched field goal at the end. They had a scoop and score late in the first half. Yeah. Ole Miss was playing better than them in the first half too.
It was self-inflicted wounds by Ole Miss.
Well, I thought it was pretty even from playing perspective, but even then, a scoop and score though, to me is not fluky. That's a sign of that was Georgia dominant. Like that felt like the play that's
kind of fluky.
That felt like the play where it's oh, okay, well, this is where Georgia takes over the game. They got a defensive touchdown, scoop and score. It's like when Alabama had the play right before half against Tennessee, and
that put them up 17?
Yeah,
that's different.
But the point is they were up 9 at half, defensive touchdown. It's Georgia against an Ole Miss team that doesn't have a head coach, that hasn't been statistically dominant offensively or defensively compared to every other team in the field. I've seen that play out a million times, and there was no way Ole Miss would win the game. And then they get the face mask that doesn't get called.
That was crazy.
Ole Miss should have won by a lot.
And then you have the kind of questionable pass interference. So Ole Miss, I've watched so much Ole Miss football, and they lose that game 100 times out of 100 for their entire school history, maybe outside of the 60s.
Yeah.
And yet Trinidad Chambliss from Ferris State, proven on the Division II level, stands on his head and creates a win.
Two things. Number one, these teams have played twice now, and there's nothing to indicate. I think it's clear as day Ole Miss is just a better team than them. And Georgia got away several times this year. They probably should have lost to Tennessee. They were flirting around with Auburn and Florida. They got out by the skin of their teeth several times. But also, maybe I'm crazy. I know Indiana has the Heisman Trophy winner. There's a lot of great players. Reuben Bain. If I was drafting a team of the players remaining in the college football playoff, I'm taking Trinidad Chambliss number 1 overall.
Am I remembering correctly that he was a third string whenever the season started?
Yeah, most
second.
I wouldn't find that hard to believe. I mean,
who's their other one?
I don't know, but the point is, Austin Simmons was supposed to be the guy.
Right.
And this is actually a huge credit to the GM, Lane Kiffin, who you're already giving the credit to. It's a credit to Ole Miss's roster creation that they go out there and they give themselves this insurance plan behind Simmons, and then it mixed with a little bit of luck because they were playing Simmons. And if it hadn't been for injury, who knows if they would have ever given Trinidad his true shot. But then credit to Chambliss, like he said in the postgame last night, the dude's just a gamer.
Yeah, AJ Maddox, I guess, was the other one, but I don't.
And he was. I mean, it would have made sense for him to be the 2. He's been in the program. You bring in this guy from Ferris State, who knows? And then all he does is go and earn it.
Well, to Big T's point, I absolutely agree that game could have been way worse for Georgia last night, if not for that fake punt where they were.
Yeah, the fake punt.
That was a great play by Kirby Smart, great execution. But Georgia was reeling at that time. It would have been 2 straight or 3 straight 3-and-outs. The offense was struggling. You had Chambliss on the other side just absolutely tearing it up. That was one of the most fun performances we've seen in the playoff ever.
Yeah.
And now this Ole Miss team, I'm really curious. Ole Miss and Miami facing off in the Final Four. I would not have expected that.
We haven't said it yet, guys.
And Oregon.
We haven't said it yet.
We have to say the name.
Congrats, Ben Mintz.
Congrats, Mincy. Hell yeah, man.
Yeah,
He's having the best playoff anybody could imagine.
Let's
Yeah,
go,
widespread over New Year's, straight into an Ole Miss Sugar Bowl in which they have the vast majority of the crowd. They knock off Kirby Smart in an exciting comeback fashion. It boggles the mind. Oh, and shout out Lucas Canero. I mean, we talk about
I want
college
that
kickers.
guy bad.
We talk about college kickers sucking all the time. You have Ohio State fans in the cave yesterday constantly complaining about their kicker. Alabama fans constantly complaining about their kicker. Canero just comes out and is lights out. And shout out Lane Kiffin.
Shout out Lane Kiffin.
Who made another $500,000 paid by LSU to be at the LSU women's basketball game yesterday.
I think they're
Coach
kind of
Ball.
regretting putting that in there about now.
I think we're so drunk that we're not really regretting anything at this point. still a very heady time down there in Baton Rouge. All right, look at that. The old girl looks beautiful in the winter. More Wake Up Barstool, a lot more college football talk coming up next. Don't go anywhere. What's happening, y'all? Welcome back. Wake Up Barstool. Love it. Here on a Friday. Okay, so let's dive back into college football again. We're going to set the NFL scene later on. We still got Katic's crawlers. We'll go into the film room. Very excited to have both David Pollack and our guy Brian Baldinger on the show later as well. But let's dive back into the playoffs yesterday. So again, Ole Miss, Georgia, instant classic. Alabama, Indiana, a shocking level of domination. We broke down the very impressive Miami performance yesterday. The one we have not talked about yet is Oregon, and that's kind of fitting because this is an Oregon team that's kind of where they've existed all season long. Just played really, really good, looked really complete, and yet never really moved into the main headline space at any time of the year. And a lot of that's because when they ran up against Indiana, they kind of got dominated. But in many ways, they shut out Texas Tech, 23-0 at the Orange Bowl. And I want to say this real quick on Texas Tech, so I'm not sure how much we'll talk about them here. Their defense was incredible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like Texas Tech's defense did its job and then some. Like they were so worth the hype. All the front seven showed up. They just got nothing from their offense, and eventually you kind of break down. That's just how it goes.
I thought Oregon was going to win the game because they were going to be able to run the ball better than other teams have. They could not run the ball with Texas Tech. All their points came from throwing the ball all the way down the field.
And you know, Baron Morton, Texas Tech's quarterback, entered the tournament as a guy with kind of the most question marks, the lowest QBR, and you could see it as he played really poorly. Granted, tough spot. Tackles getting your butt kicked, right? Like it was just a disaster off it. Yeah, they were terrible.
Their offensive tackles were horrendous. I mean, we watched it in the cave yesterday.
Yeah.
And every time they would lose a rep, they opened their hips immediately and just gave up a two-way street for the edge rusher to pick, and he would just have his way with it.
And it's also a credit to Oregon's defense, which has been a top 5 defense all year long. Shout out Uiagalelei rushing the passer. The freshman corner, Brandon Finney Jr., a guy who at 18 years old as a true freshman allowed the lowest completion percentage in the entire country when targeted in coverage. I think he had the most pass breakups of any quarterback in the Big Ten. He's now the second player in CFP history to have 3 turnovers in a single game. And that's the thing about Oregon. To me, they are Indiana just a year earlier right now. They're a little younger, a little more inexperienced, but they feel complete in every phase of the game. They execute at a very high level. And this rematch between these two is going to be electric.
Very excited about it.
This is a team that's evolved throughout the course of the year. Obviously very young, as you pointed out. They needed some time to get their footing a little bit, find their identity. They're now, hitting on all cylinders. And that game yesterday, you know, the front seven was great for Oregon. The defensive backfield was phenomenal. They just had Morton in hell. And Dante Moore also faced a ton of pressure. How many times was Oregon starting? It was like 2nd and 20.
Yeah.
Or they were constantly
behind the chains
nonstop. But they were able to fight through it. And I don't want anybody to delegitimize that win from Oregon and say, oh, well, you know, I guess Texas Tech just wasn't that good. You know, maybe they were just the product of playing in a weak Big 12 or whatever the case is. That was the best scoring offense in the Power 4 from Texas Tech, and Oregon absolutely shut them down. Texas Tech coming into the game is getting 42.5 points a game.
Yeah.
They scored 0. That's not just chalking it up to, they weren't as good.
Yeah, and Texas Tech's defense, very clearly was a championship level defense. The offense was just too much. Maybe the offense was a bit of a product of the schedule because they just weren't good enough to handle elite defense. And you even kind of saw some signs of this. I keep thinking back to that Utah game where really the offense in the first half looked a lot like they did in this game, only the defense kept staying on its head. Eventually they came through. But it's still a great year for Texas Tech.
Yeah.
It's still a great year. It's still a very good team, very deserving to be in the position that they were. They just now have to go back and figure some things out, maybe invest in that O-line the same way they did the front seven this last year.
That game, though, I will say, it felt like there was 1,000 plays, bad and good, and then halftime it was only 3-0.
Yeah.
It's there was picks, there was fumbles.
Yeah.
Everything you can think of in that game happened in the first half.
Yeah.
Well, how many times did Oregon try and go for it on 4th down, and Texas Tech was able to stop them? It was crazy.
Still only 16-0 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Or actually, right until the very end.
Right
they
until the
scored
end,
the touchdown right there. Like Texas Tech they were never in the game because they couldn't score, but they were. The game was never put away until the last 30 seconds.
Yeah. No, and
on paper they were still fully in it. Yeah.
It's which is funny because I'll credit Brandon Walker here. He had a funny joke when it was 6-0. He said it's a 3-score game because 3 safeties might have been the only way that the Red Raiders were going to tie that thing up. Shout out Joe McGuire though. We still love you. Big fan of Wub. You're our guy. Again, great season for the Raiders. They just ran into an Oregon team in Dan Lanning, who's one of the best young coaches in the entire country, a program on the rise, and one that looks to be as much of a perennial national contender as anyone in the country. And their story's not written yet. Again, this game with Indiana is going to be massive, but like Oregon, I would buy all the future stock in Oregon as well, the same way I would buy Indiana. But here you see it, guys. Oregon, Indiana, Fiesta Bowl rematch at night. For my money, the 2 most impressive teams from this round. Yeah. Is it the Peach Bowl?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about this matchup, Katic?
No, I mean, obviously earlier in the year, just two high-powered offenses going at it again.
Connor.
Defense, I thought in the first matchup, the way Fernando came back from that pick 6 late in the game, kind of led that last drive there. It's going to be a lot on defense and how we shut down these high-powered offenses on both sides of the ball. But I think Texas Tech, I know our GAs. I talked to some of them last night. They're already on the Texas Tech on how they shut down Oregon's offense and how they're going to stop the run game and things like that. So.
I think it's interesting because I think Indiana's better. Again, I think they're like Oregon, only more so. It's not as obvious as Alabama. The thing that gives me pause, and it doesn't give you boy pause, it's hard to beat a good team twice.
Yeah, true.
That's if I'm an Indiana fan, that's that scary sort of not real analysis gremlin that's in the back of my head.
And Fernando said that in his postgame yesterday, so they're aware of it. They know the task at hand, but I think they'll be ready for it. Sig will have the boys ready.
I know I picked Alabama to win yesterday. I also picked Ole Miss.
See there.
I already bet Oregon +4.
That's I don't
consistent.
Obviously, yeah.
Everyone listen.
No, there's going to be non-believers every single week. You and Brandon will never believe in Indiana. It's okay.
I said they're one of the best teams in the country.
It's all right.
But with that said, I am going to bet against them until one of us dies. It's going to be me or them, and we're going to find out.
At a certain point, you're already pot committed. You're the meme. You're in the mines. You're chipping away. Like you're either going to get exhausted and die in the tunnel, or eventually,
I'm finding the diamond.
Eventually, they're going to lose, and there's your diamond.
By the way, no,
and it's unfair to Indiana because it's an impossible metric. Like the only way you die in the tunnel is if they win the Natty.
Correct. By the way, note to self for next year. First quarter of the teams that did not have a bye, because even Alabama covered that.
Yeah, it's
So I lost Alabama huge, but I hit Alabama first quarter.
I still think I'm not sure how I feel about the sample size that we have because it's still relatively small. It is 1-7. Teams that have the bye, but then also like if you look at the majority of those games because of how it was seeded last year, it's like the favorite. Yeah,
last year was kind of fake, but this year, I mean, people thought Georgia was going to roll over Ole Miss. People thought Ohio State was going to roll over Miami. And by the way, you just watch, and you'll be thrilled about this, by the way, because I know you love this. This will be the justification for expanding the playoff further.
I don't care about expansion.
So
I just
that
agree
the
with
best teams don't have to have buys.
Sixteen's been that's been a done deal forever now. 16
Buddy,
has.
You think they're stopping at 16?
I do actually, but here's,
okay. Well, the good news is we have evidence that they'll stop.
Here's the one thing I would say is that I just agree with what I agree with what Dan Lanning said. Move the season up a week, starts at week 0, play every weekend of December, stop the breaks. I think the breaks are bad for the viewer as well. It's it kind of takes them the wind out of your sails. In the season on January 1st, it kind of cleans up the entire calendar. I'll be interested to see if they do so. Okay, other side of the docket. So we have Indiana, Oregon, and then you have Ole
Miss,
and Miami.
I'm here for the narrative. I'm here for the narrative of Indiana, Miami, playing in Miami. That would be so much fun. Awesome. You have Mendoza at home. His family's there. Shout out if you're watching. Eddie and Evie, love you. I'm just so excited. I think that would be amazing. And it would be so much fun. So much fun.
The Canes fans all of a sudden would be crawling out of their holes that they've been hiding for so many years. The stadium finally be full
I think
again.
it'd be awesome if it was a quarter full, like for the
Who do y'all think? Okay, because I do believe that Indiana is the clear overall favorite here. Out of this Final Four, or the other three teams, who do you think is the biggest challenger?
The one thing quickly on Indiana.
Yeah.
I don't struggle with the fact that they have to beat a very good team twice. I struggle with the fact that they would be the first team ever to go 16-0 if they were to win this whole thing, which they could easily do. But their biggest challenger, I would have to say Miami, right? Just because of that.
Yeah,
I think Oregon.
I think.
Well, if they get past Oregon,
Oregon.
If they get past Oregon in a national championship, if they're facing one of these two teams, Ole Miss, Miami.
Yeah, if we were to rank, let's rank the Final Four teams:
Indiana, Oregon, Miami, and then Ole Miss. Right?
Yeah, I think is that, are we?
I think I would put Miami over Oregon just because recency bias, but that's just me.
I mean, they do have. But I think Oregon does as well, potentially. I was going to say they do have the skill set that you have to beat an elite quarterback, which is can you get pressure with 4 and just get pass rush wins. Right. But so does Oregon. Look, everybody's good. And what I love, let's just take a second, guys, as we enter a year, and let's give thanks for this 25-26 football season at both the college and NFL levels.
Yes.
Because it has subverted expectations, and we are going to crown a new champion. Mm-hmm. It's like George Kittle said the other day. He said, this Super Bowl's weird because it feels like anybody's to lose because it's wide open. All the old bulwarks against you winning are gone. Who's going to step up and claim a ring? Can't wait to watch. More Wake Up Barstool next. What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to Wake Up Barstool. We do it every single Friday at this time. It's time to once again head into the money corner. Let's go. Meagan Money's been hot lately.
I've missed you guys. I hope everyone had a fantastic Christmas and
you as well.
New Year's.
What the hell is going on?
This is the party.
Yeah. You got dance, Big T.
I like it.
Let's see some moves,
Welcome
Big T.
Big T got dance, dude.
Hell yeah, Big T.
Oh, we're
Hell
good,
yeah. That's what we need. We need some liven it up, boys. Because these picks aren't very lively. I'm gonna be honest. I'm getting sad. We're running out of football. And
it's okay. Let's be where our feet are.
We're good.
Be where our feet are. Be happy.
Be happy with what we have. And first up, we're going to take the Panthers +3, quick and easy. They're in a better position to take the division more so than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay needs the right things to fall. They've already beaten the Bucks. The Bucks are obviously in a free fall. They've gone 1-7 their last 8, and they have not covered a game yet. Obviously, Baker is playing through some injuries. Something's wrong, and the Panthers have the better D, especially against the pass. So we're going to go ahead and take them catching some points. So Panthers +3, first one on the docket. Second up, we're going to go ahead and take the Colts team total under 13.5. Look, I understand you like this Colts team, T-Bob. However,
well, I don't like them anymore. They will be forgotten in time. I'll always remember the first half of the season.
And look, that's totally cool. But when it comes to betting, you got to think about the here and the now.
Yeah.
And the here and the now is Riley Leonard. Okay. My thing is the Colts again. They would love to play spoiler, but I think that Texans defense locks in. I would like to take the spread. The Texans have the ability and have blown people out, but there's a lot of games that have been kept relatively close, so don't feel safe with the 10.5. Again, I like the defense. I think they're going to lock down the Colts. Give me the team total under.
I love
13.5.
Also, remember, what was your call a few weeks ago?
Raiders team total under 12, and they scored.
I thought it was like 7.5.
Yeah,
right.
It was plus big money.
It was under 7, and they got 0.
What would a parlay in week 8 or so have been of Panthers to make the playoffs and Colts to miss?
That's a very good call. And I would like to congratulate the Carolina Panthers on the NFC South title because when the Saints beat the Falcons, they win no matter what.
Buddy, you said that as if I care 1%.
Well, speaking of caring, let's go back to, since Big T is here, we decided to go with a teaser. Vikings, Bills. We're going to take the
That's
Vikings.
copyrighted. You can't do that.
Well, so is Meagan Makin Money. Vikings minus 1.5 and Bills on the money line. Packers have secured the wild card spot, so who knows how they're really going to play in this game. JJ and squad have been on absolute fire, winning their last 4. So I expect that winning streak to continue. Bills have the wild card, but need this game for seeding. They're playing the Jets. I mean, one of the worst teams in the league. So we're going to go with that teaser. I also like Jackson Dart anytime touchdown. That line is not out yet. They're playing the Cowboys, and I just think Jackson Dart's going to have that Ole Miss energy running through his veins, and he's going to run one in. And last but not least, we're staying here in Chicago. We're going to go Caleb Williams over 240-plus passing yards. Obviously, the Bears are coming off a just heartbreaking loss to the Niners. And obviously, I just think that they're going to go up against the Lions, who have a subpar pass defense.
Yeah.
So I think Caleb Williams will
corners.
have a big bounce back week here. I like the over 240-plus passing yards. And that is the money corner for this
There it is,
weekend.
baby!
I love you guys. Hopefully, we can make some money and come back and start college basketball betting soon.
Yeah, the Caleb Williams line is interesting there because if he hits 270, the Bears will finally have a quarterback that has thrown for 4,000 yards.
Crazy.
Something that has eluded them for their long and storied history. Will Caleb Williams be the one? Also, Ben Johnson's motivated to win this game. Although for the Bears, win or loss, the NFC's so topsy-turvy, they're going to have a really tough first-round matchup.
He threw for 330 yards last game. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a shootout, but I think he comes back and he has some real pressure. The Bears historically just have not been in this spot in a long time.
2 seed on the line. If they lose this
Yeah.
one, they lose the 2 seed. That could be really critical.
I agree.
Yeah. You want 1 or 2, but everything else, you're right. It is so topsy-turvy.
Tyler Shuck's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. More Wake Up Barstool coming up in hour 2. David Pollack next. What's happening, y'all? Welcome back to Wake Up Barstool. So excited to talk to one of my favorite people in college football. Used to have him on my own show every now and then. One of the all-time greats. It's our guy, David Pollack. Check out the See Ball, Get Ball podcast. Kicking ass, knows ball better than anyone. David, what's up, man? How we doing this morning?
Doing wonderful. How you fellas doing?
We're doing great. We're doing great. I really like the quarterfinal round. Even the blowouts were interesting to me in a lot of ways because the takeaways that we get from them. And then we got the instant classic last night. Of course, if you don't know, Pollack is one of the all-time Georgia greats. I mean, I remember being recruited in high school, go to the weight room, you see who the strongest guys in program history were. It's just Pollack. How we feeling after last night, man? Tough one for the Dogs. Really unreal what Ole Miss did.
It really unreal what Ole Miss has done. And just to think about Lane Kiffin and everything that went down and how it went down and Pete Golding, who's Pete Golding? He's going to come be a head coach. Oh, he's going to debut in the playoffs. Oh, he's going to go against Kirby Smart in the second round and more than hold his own. And then the story of Trinidad Chambliss, obviously we can get into too. I just if you told Ole Miss fans before the season Austin Simmons wouldn't play, and they'd have been like, all right, we sucked. We're terrible. And this little dude right here that's running all over your screen just continued to make plays from in the pocket, outside the pocket. He was unguardable. And last year, this time, he was playing in the Division II National Championship. And that's the guy who's leading Ole Miss to new territory. So it was an unbelievable, it was a roller coaster game, man. Both QBs making plays back and forth, but Ole Miss and Hotty Toddy, a lot to be depressed about over the holidays. Now they bring in the new year with some cheer.
I don't want to stick too long here, but I do have one follow-up on Georgia. There's been so much hand-wringing about Bobo for years now. And yesterday's offense was, shout out to Gunnar Stockton. The way that he would put his body on the line to make the plays that Georgia ended up creating was unbelievable. Some vicious hits. But what do you think Georgia needs to do offensively to get back to those teams that stacked a couple national championships just a few years ago?
Gunnar Stockton is everything you love about a competitor.
Yeah.
Like you saw that last night. He died several times on the field and got revived and still continued to get up and make plays. Like his toughness is in question. Yeah, watch this hit. Just like that's unbelievable. Like there's a third yard line. And what you don't see is he runs up, gets on the line, runs a QB sneak. He's pushing his lineman out of the way, but like he's got the toughness. He's got the playmaking ability with his feet. This is his first year as a starter. I thought the offense was a little bit limited. I think he's got to take some steps to continue to grow and get better in the throw game and in touch and layering the football. But I do think he took some steps in the right direction. Here's the thing, Bob, when they lost Drew Lobo, they lost their best offensive lineman. It was different. And we got some people on set that know something about offensive line that can break it down. But when you watch guys in there, like it was a different game. A lot of swings and misses. They weren't blocking as much. They weren't as well communicated. The center who's an All-American, who's a guy that's going to get drafted one day and play in the NFL, is also the son of the offensive coordinator, which really helps knowing and identifying everything. So the offseason for Georgia will be interesting. Listen, the play calling down the stretch, if goal for me, and I'm making that decision, and I tie and go to overtime, be it, I'll do it with you having any clock. So I'm throwing a screen to Branch. I'm running my QB again. I'm making sure the clock's still ticking, or I'm kicking a field goal as the clock winds down, and I Ole Miss time. So there's plenty of blame to go around for Georgia in the way they lost.
Yeah, I agree. And real quick, Dave, we're gonna reestablish a connection, and then we'll hop back in. I agree. The Drew Bobo element's huge. Yeah. A center's always big, and then you have an All-American center. Like that's massive. And
he brought up something we didn't talk about though, which is the speaking of Mike Bobo, the pass on third down at the end of the game.
Yeah, so let me set the scene. So it's 3rd and goal, right? About a minute left. They choose to pass. So if it's incomplete, you're going to leave time in the clock after
Ole Miss
you
had
the
no
game.
timeouts.
They had no timeouts. I don't mind the choice, maybe because they go for the win, because it's going to be very hard for Ole Miss to score a touchdown with no timeouts. But it is the risk versus reward, right? Like I kind of agree with David said. Like maybe run Stockton, he's done that very well. Maybe wide receiver screen. All right, we got David back here. Mikey, I ask you can take it away about Indiana here.
Yeah, I wanted to ask 2-part question. What was your biggest takeaway from the Alabama-Indiana game? And then are you it's hard to beat a good team twice guy? The rematch with Oregon-Indiana, what's your kind of or whatever. Analysis on that game.
A CT.
CT's kicking.
Yeah, I've got it too. I can relate. Listen, I thought the easiest game to pick of the weekend was Indiana-Alabama.
Yes.
Indiana's been the most complete team. Indiana's physical. Indiana's what Alabama used to be.
Yeah, that's what.
Like literally, they're physical, they're disciplined, they're tough, they're exceptionally well coached. Nobody's better coached in the country. So the rematch is a real thing. Oregon last year, they got some experience with this, don't they? Oregon last year runs the table. Yep. Ohio State, they beat Ohio State in the regular season. Ohio State beats the mess out of them in the playoffs, goes on to win a national championship. So how are you not just so impressed with Indiana and what they continue to do, how they talk after the Rose Bowl post game, like everything about them, man. Like it screams everything. And here's the coolest thing about college football. How about last year's 4 teams we had left? This year, totally new 4 teams.
Love it.
Totally new. We wanted parity. We wanted newness. We wanted something different. Like we absolutely got it. But I'm not worried about Indiana. Like I wasn't worried about Alabama. I didn't think Alabama had the had any part of the game to go play with Indiana. Just didn't see it.
Yeah, and if you don't believe him, you can look up the clips. He had that game nailed to a wall. I want to ask you one thing about Indiana from the D-line perspective, because I look at them and I think they're way more talented, too, than they get credit for. Like, the O-line's great, Heisman winner at quarterback, all the skill positions feel like NFL guys. The D-line is the one group to me that seems to be sort of plucky in that they're undersized, but they dominate. How were they able to dominate when they looked small compared to that Alabama front, and yet it didn't matter. They were consistently making plays. How do they accomplish that?
They got one of the best DCs in all of college football, period. But they do the best job that I've seen of anyone stunting up front. A lot of times when you stunt and when you move, you get moved out of the way sometimes with your momentum. And so you go a different direction and you give up big plays, and linebackers are trying to fill gaps that become extremely wide, and it's really hard to do. Man, they don't do that. They don't miss with their stunts. They're so tight. They're so clean. They find ways to affect the quarterback. Everybody in the zone coverage in the back end, man, all the eyeballs are absolutely dialed in. They all move on the football. They're so disciplined. They're so sound. They're so good, like across the board. Safeties trigger so fast and make plays. Pawns can cover anybody on the outside. Like, it's just a great unit, well coached, and they know exactly what they're doing, and they don't give up those big plays, and they make you earn it.
Yep.
David, how would you rank the 4 quarterbacks we have left? Because obviously Indiana has the Heisman Trophy winner. We talked about Chambliss, who was unbelievable yesterday. I thought Dante Moore made some great throws. He's going to be a first-round pick. How would you tier the quarterbacks we have left?
Mendoza's going number 1 because I first of all, everything about Mendoza you love. Like, there's nobody in this world that can say, I think that dude's terrible. Like, he's an unbelievable human being. He's big. He's physical. He's tough. He died on the field, too, the first game against Ohio State. Remember, on the championship game, Curry hit him, and you're like, oh, my gosh. And he gets up, finishes the game. His toughness, his size, his ability to scramble, make plays, stay calm. Like, Mendoza's at 1. Trinidad Chambliss is at 2 for me. Like, I don't know what else I need to see throughout the season. The running, the throwing. The dude is the ultimate consummate point guard. Like, it's literally distribute. When you talk about rushing him, like, you can rush him all you want. The ball comes out most of the time on time. Then you'll see him run backwards sometimes 35 yards with a corner chasing him and still be able to play make. The red zone, his ability to run is huge. He's just been growing as the season's been going on. Then I'll go Dante Moore, who's got the highest probably ceiling, just smooth, cool customer, never gets rattled, wants to push the ball down the field, can make plays. That's what makes Oregon unique, man. They had the run game, which is so great, but Moore can do what he did against Texas Tech. When you're not running the football, he can still make plays. And then you go down to Carson Beck. Now, it's not like a big slight at Carson Beck. They're just all really, really good. But I think all of them bring the element of mobility to the table that Carson doesn't bring. That second play that I have to play. But the styles in the next matchup are going to be great.
David, I want to focus on the opposite side of the ball with the defense. We talked about Indiana's defense and how fundamentally sound they are. Miami, we haven't talked about what they did the other night against Ohio State and that front. Obviously, you have Oregon just absolutely shutting down Texas Tech. What does it say about the future of the sport and where we're heading with the fact that 3 of these 4 teams just have these lights-out defenses in the Final Four?
Well, it's just changed so much, man. Like, we went to a couple years ago, like, if you didn't get to 30 or 40, like, you got no shot. And now defenses have done such a great job of being much more versatile. Like, they're not worried about, like, size as much as they used to be. Like, linebackers used to be 250, right? And they're in adults. Like, in the middle, like, you got to be physical. You got to play this style of football. Offenses went a bunch of hybrids and went a bunch of speed and spread. And so defenses kind of counteracted with that. And now you're seeing defensive linemen who can be smaller, linebackers who can be smaller, but a lot more speed, a lot more versatility, guys that can do multiple things. And right now, defense and run game, I would throw that in there too. Like, if you can't run the football right now, you're in trouble. I mean, you're not going to just drop back against the defenses because they're so skilled. So we kind of went through a period where defense always won championships. And then it was like, wait a minute, okay, you better be able to score a lot of points to win. And now I think we're back to, like, play great defense and run the football, and good things happen for you.
And you were one of the most fearsome pass rushers of your time, and I want to zero in on a pass rusher here because the performance, and look, your best players got to show up on this stage if you want to win a championship. And for Miami, that's Ruben Bain. And him and Mizador were both awesome. But, like, what did you see out of Bain the other night? His ability to dip, maintain balance, bend the hoop there. I mean, he was an unstoppable force against the Buckeyes.
Well, Jason Taylor's their pass rush coach, which is
I
pretty
did
cool.
not know that.
That's not bad to have a Hall of Famer as your pass rush coach. But you can see the nuance of it because he's got the quickness, he's got the strength, he's got the hands, but it's the ability, like the first play that he makes in the game. First, I love the way they use him too, because they brought him inside on the guards some, which I think was smart to start the game. They put Bain and Mesidor on the same side at times. So it's not just the ability for them to get after the quarterback, like to use speed, to use hands, to use the double swipe, to use a ghost rush, like to move him inside at the guard. It's also their relentless nature. Like these dudes hunt.
Yeah.
Like they hunt, they play the run, they play the screen game, like they cover down, like they are an absolute problem. And it's just Bain and Mesidor's ability to penetrate. And listen, the others showed up too. The others made play as well. There's plenty of others in there that are helping them out. But those two guys, man, they have a plan. They have ability to win right now, but all great pass rushers, the best pass rushers, they win now, but they also win with a counter. So you make those big boys drop back and you beat them with speed, but then the ability now to beat them inside, both of those guys have that ability, and it's pretty freaky, man.
David, I had a question. Speaking of pass rushing, we were watching the Texas Tech offensive line yesterday. One thing that stuck out to me is every set that they lost, they were opening up their hip like almost immediately and giving the D end a two-way go. What was something that you saw in film of an offensive tackle you were like, oh, I'm gonna get after his ass this game?
Well, you're always looking for a squealer. Yeah. Like you're always looking for somebody that tells the tape. I'll never forget, man. I'm watching the Colts, and it's Dwight Freeney, and they're playing Dante Culpepper and the Vikings.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. I'm watching for hours, and Freeney and Mathis, when I put it in slow motion, they were moving before the ball moved. And I'm like, wow, what the heck do they have? Like they have a tell. What is it?
Knee twitch?
I'll never forget, man. I finally found it a couple hours later when Dante Culpepper went under center. His hands flashed before the ball came. They were out there so freaky fast. So literally I was like, all right, so I did the same exact thing, obviously, and it helped me have success. I still wasn't Freeney and Mathis, so I wasn't that quick to get to the quarterback, but I made some plays because of it. But that's the most underrated part, man.
Yeah.
Like you just said, watching the hands, how do they attack you? What do they turn the upfield shoulder? Are they high punchers? Are they low punchers? Like there's different stuff that you can continue to get information and piece together if you'll use it. And then when you're an athletic freak like Bain and Mesidor, like you obviously have a chance to really, really destroy people and do some damage.
Yeah.
And look, if you're my age, you cannot have David Pollack on the show, making his debut on the show, and not talk about one of the greatest football plays of all time. And it's because we keep seeing it, right? The play you made is seared into my brain, and we saw some similar plays on Sunday. It was Chase Young with an incredible strip sack right out the corner of the hand touchdown. Yesterday, Uiagalelei from Oregon doing his best David Pollack impression here, steal it from the quarterback. Now, he didn't quite end up finding the end zone, but guys, play the tape. Do we have the old Pollack highlight here? Because I don't know if the young guys have seen it. This is one of the coolest plays. Like, you remember where you were when you were a kid and you saw this. Oh, touchdown! Stolen! In the end zone! Bro, Dave, what did that feel like, dude? That had to be one of the all-time great feelings.
Celebrating. I love it.
Look at his face right now. It tells you everything you need to know.
I wish I could have the celebration back. That's for sure. Because that was god-awful. Well, you said the right word, T-Bob. It's old because there is no HD. You can tell that. Listen, sometimes a blind squirrel can find a nut. And that one right there, man, like if I did that 65,000 more times, I ain't making that play. I was just trying to bat the ball down as I was coming in, and then ended up just catching it and pinching it to his body. But it was a 13-7 game. That was the only touchdown in the football.
Oh, I didn't remember that detail. I just remember the play. Oh, that's crazy.
13-6 game.
So that won the game.
It was a real barn burner. It was not a great contest for offense. That's for sure.
Also, credit to David because I think his arm was coming forward there. That went down as an interception. Pick six.
Yes.
Oh, let's go.
Pick six on the resume, dude. That ain't
Pick
a sack
six, and
force
thank
fumble.
God I didn't have to run. In the end zone. Thank goodness.
David, cannot thank you enough, man. You're the absolute best, guys. See ball, get ball. If you want to be informed of college football, check out the pod. Thank you so much, brother.
Appreciate you, dude. It's good to be with y'all.
Absolutely. There he is, David Pollack, absolute legend. Great insight into what it takes to succeed as a pass rusher on the highest level. When we get back, let's shift to the NFL. We got Baldy coming up here in a little bit. We'll talk NFL. We got Smash Your Pass. It's Friday. It's WUB. And it's snowing. It's great. All right, guys, we got Brian Baldinger coming up next. But first, let's shift our attention to the NFL. Week 18 coming up. The playoffs are nearly set here. Yeah, only a couple of spots up for grabs this weekend. Something I've been hammering. You know, you got the AFC North. The winner gets in. NFC South could end up being a winner gets in situation, depending on Saints-Falcons. But all those teams maybe feel a little irrelevant, potentially, to kind of the overall Super Bowl picture. But I want to highlight something George Kittle said, which is he was asked the other day after the game about kind of the lack of a superpower in the NFL this year. And a lot of times we frame it as, well, it's anybody's to win. And Kittle, with a little wordplay, said he kind of views it as anybody's to lose. And for a second, I was like, oh, doesn't that mean the same thing? But then I started thinking about, okay, you know what? I'm actually coming around a bit here to what Kittle's saying. I believe my interpretation is basically that with the path being wide open and the normal roadblocks, be it like a Patrick Mahomes, whoever, with the normal roadblocks being out of the way, like, this is almost every team in the playoffs. This is going to be your best chance to win a Super Bowl, likely your entire career. Yeah. Now, nobody wants to believe that. Everybody wants to believe they're going to go on these legendary runs that are going to last years and years. But no, every team in this field, really the top 3 seeds on both sides, the bottom 3 seeds on both sides, feel like this is their championship to lose. And what it's going to come down to in a lot of ways is quarterback, boys. So let's do a little quarterback QB tiers here. We're going to start in the AFC, and we got 3 tiers. Super Bowl, good, not good enough. We got Bo Nix, Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen, Drake May, Justin Herbert, C.J. Stroud, Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson. Where would we rank these guys? Let's start with the Super Bowl tier. Who out of the AFC is good enough to win a Super Bowl?
Drake May.
Josh Allen.
I think Josh Allen's got to be one with a bullet. His playoff stats are unbelievable.
Yes. After that, it's kind of tough. There are talented guys in there, absolutely. People who have the talent to win a Super Bowl, but they have not necessarily shown in the postseason.
I mean, it's difficult to unpair these guys from the team. Like,
that's fair.
The Broncos can win the Super Bowl. Do I think Bo Nix is one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL that I would mention first? No.
So I think
they can win the Super Bowl.
Per this conversation, well, at least in my mind, but you can interpret it however you want. I would say then that he would fall into the good category for this. If Nix, if you're saying if they can win the Super Bowl, but it's more about the team, then I would say that that's maybe more of the
I think he's
category.
great.
Well, then I think we only have 2 Super Bowl. You know?
I would agree. Yeah.
It is kind of interesting that Drake May's already there, even over Lamar Jackson.
He's
because we're saying, oh, but Lamar Jackson struggled in the playoffs, but okay, but he's also been there.
But Lamar Jackson also really banged up this year. We don't know what he's going to look like this week. Yeah, I'd probably put a lot of good in there.
Yeah.
What's the one not good enough? Is it
Aaron Rodgers?
Is it Raji? Yeah.
I hate to say it, but
it's Rodgers. I think would be in the not good enough category.
C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud kind of feels like
I feel like
good.
Yeah, I feel like he's in the good category.
People really decided he wasn't good last year for some reason, and then he's back to being good again.
Yeah. He's a sophomore slump.
Yeah.
But
you just don't think about C.J. Stroud when you think about elite quarterbacks. But if you repeat what Big T said about not being able to unpair them with the teams, then I think he could win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, obviously their defense is going to carry them. But
I mean, Trevor Lawrence is interesting to me here. Because should Trevor Lawrence be in that Super Bowl tier?
I got to be honest with you, T-Bob. If there was one person we were elevating from the good to Super Bowl, it would be Trevor Lawrence.
I agree.
The way that he's playing,
I agree.
I absolutely think he's playing in a spot right now where he's good enough to win the Jaguars a Super Bowl. And kind of contradictory to what we were just talking about with the Texans, you think about the defense for the Texans first, not C.J. Stroud. I think of Trevor Lawrence first when I think of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's been on a tear right now.
It's kind of funny, too, because I would almost throw Herbert in there, but the O-line's just so bad.
Yeah.
And his postseason successes.
Now let's look at the NFC side of the equation. We got Sam Darnold, Caleb Williams, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young, Matt Stafford, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy. Number one with the. I'm still going. Hurts in my Super Bowl tier because he's done it. Obviously,
Stafford
done it absolutely.
I would like to put.
Darnold.
I would like to put Baker up there just because of how well he can play, but it's. I don't. I think he'd be fall into good.
I think he's too injured right now.
Yeah.
I think he's too injured right now. I think if I was going to bump somebody up, I think it would be Brock Purdy actually.
Katic said something very interesting about Darnold. I also, I'm still Brock Purdy. He's a guy who doesn't make sense. He should not be playing this good, but he is. The system around him is phenomenal. He elevates the players around him.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think with Sam Darnold,
maybe it's the salary I'm thinking of. I don't know if he's like a $55 million quarterback, however much he's been getting paid, but he's very, very good.
I think with Sam Darnold, in that he's good enough, but he does make mistakes in the biggest game. But the Seahawks are still good enough around him to kind of make up for those mistakes, and then he can get you through. So I'd go good on Darnold.
There's just something about Sam Darnold that just doesn't do it for me. Like it's just like he doesn't have that spark. I guess I don't know. Every time I hear his name or watch him play, I'm just like, oh.
He doesn't feel terribly threatening. Now I'm going to be interested to see if the unreal, crazy comeback win the other night, like, does that spark something? Did that unlock something out of him?
Yeah.
Who would you say out of the NFC would fall into the not good enough category? Because I'd put Caleb Williams in good.
Yeah.
Bryce Young
would
too inconsistent.
Would be not good enough. One person.
Jordan Love?
He has streaks of like where he could potentially be elite, but then he just kind of falls back down to good.
Yeah. No, I agree. Bryce Young's been like the most up and down. The Panthers been one of the most up and down teams of the year. Jordan Love, last one. Where do we feel, guys?
Good.
Okay. Okay.
I think eventually he could be a quarterback in the Super Bowl tier, but considering everything, again, it's the team around him. I don't know if the team around him is good enough right now to put him in that upper echelon.
Well, we're kicking this around. You know who we should really be asking any question concerning the NFL?
Yeah.
Brian Baldinger. That's
Baldy.
right. We got Baldy coming up next. Baldy's Breakdowns, the best social media accounts to follow, so don't go anywhere. More Wake Up Barstool on the other side of the break. What's happening, guys? Welcome back. Let's dive right in. We got Brian Baldinger, Baldy's Breakdowns, the absolute best. You see the logo on the shirt, on the hat. If you ain't watching Baldy, you're not educating yourself on the game. The man watches every snap of football on this beautiful earth in which we inhabit. And, with that, let's start with a quick college question for the NFL. Quarterfinals just wrapping up. Exciting top four here. Baldy, what was your kind of main takeaway that from watching these games the last couple of days?
I love these college coaches. Obviously Signetti is Signetti, but Mario Cristobal, I got to know him this year. Went down their practices at University of Miami. I challenge anybody that plays football at any level to think that nobody could practice harder than what Mario Cristobal does.
Really?
It was refreshing to see the pace and the amount of contact that they practice with and how physical they are. And it showed up, obviously, against Ohio State. But I was just impressed by the overall coaching and how they get these players to play as physical and hard as they do. That Georgia Ole Miss game, that was one for the ages last night. That was a great football game.
Yeah, and it really seems like the trenches are deciding these as it should be in a lot of ways, and as it is a lot of time in football. All right, let's get to the NFL. There's final week of the season, a lot up for grabs. I want to start in the NFC West. Because although you have a couple of games where teams are going to be fighting for entry to the playoffs, I actually think the stakes in Niners Seahawks are the highest of any game this weekend. With first round bye, with the home field advantage on the line, division title, and it's two of the best, if not the best teams in the NFL. What are your keys to Seahawks Niners and how it will be decided?
A couple things. I agree with you all the way around. To get the first round bye is huge. I live in Philly, and they got a first round bye last year, and to get a week's rest, and then the whole thing, it really worked out great for them. But I guess maybe Detroit got the first round bye, but regardless, they got a week of rest. They didn't play week 18. It's a huge deal, huge deal. You get to home playoff games, that's an advantage. But I think the key in this game, honestly, is two things. One, can Seattle's defense rattle, control Christian McCaffrey? The offense goes through Christian McCaffrey. Can they limit him? The first time they played, which was 4 months ago, they held him to 69 yards on 23 rushes. So, like less than 3 yards a carry. So that was huge. And then I think what can Sam Darnold take care of the football? Can he play a clean game?
Yeah.
Because that's in question. I saw him last week against Carolina, and in that game, he threw an interception in the end zone, and he had the ball stripped out of his hands. So there was 2 turnovers on his part. The defense is good enough to overcome it against Carolina. But if he does that 2 times against San Francisco, I don't think that he's going to be good enough to overcome.
Well, Baldy, first of all, hi, I'm Connor.
It's Connor Griffin.
Yeah, big-time Eagles fan.
Well, hello, Connor.
Hello.
What's the S on the shirt stand for?
It's Penn State.
He's also a big Penn State guy. Yeah.
Penn State, Philly guy.
Okay.
I got to ask about the Eagles. I already warned them in the break. Selfishly, I got to ask. Eagles are resting their starters this week. There are people freaking out because this offense, pretty much the entire season, hasn't fully looked right. What have you seen from the Eagles on tape that's concerning? And do you think it's something that they could just flip on a switch in the playoffs and fix? Or, what is it?
Well, I was in the barn at Lane Johnson's house on Monday, and I thought the starters were going to play. And then by Tuesday, they decided to rest a lot of the starters.
Yeah.
Like they did last year. And it's the right move. I would take rest over trying to get another week and trying to figure this offense out. But I think the biggest problem, honestly, is the offensive line and just getting movement at the point of attack. And look, I mean, right now, Landon Dickerson, these guys are beat up. Really, Landon's been beat up since training camp when he had a knee scoped. And so get him a week rest right now. I think that could be the best thing. They'll play either Green Bay, Los Angeles, or San Francisco the following week at home. I don't know if that'll be a Saturday or Sunday game, whatever, but I think the week rest is going to help them. If they get movement at the point of attack, Saquon can still kill you. He can still put up 100 on you real quick. He's done it a couple times this year when they did play well up front. And then when he plays well, the quarterback plays well. And so I don't have any questions about the defense. The defense is as good as anybody's. Maybe Houston is a little bit better right now, but they're as good as anybody in the postseason. And they proved last year that defense wins these championships when they shut the Chiefs out for the first 3 quarters of that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Baldy, of the teams that aren't in the playoffs yet, so Bucks, Panthers, Steelers, Ravens, which of those teams do you think has the best chance to win a game or maybe go on a run further than that?
I think Baltimore. Baltimore because, we might get a really healthy Lamar Jackson. I remember just spending time with him in the preseason this year at training camp. And, this stigma about can't win playoff games and what his record is, it bothers him more than anything else. Mm-hmm. And so he's going to have a chance right here to come back. Obviously, they got to beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh this weekend, Sunday night, finish this whole season off. And then Derrick Henry. I mean, you put Patrick Ricard and Derrick Henry in the I formation. Yeah. Give me any defense in the history of mankind. Like they're going to have trouble stopping that combination. And so the Steelers are going to have their hands full. I think that's a team that could be dangerous in the postseason. I know they didn't play well down the stretch. And I know there's rumbles about Lamar and the coach and all that stuff. That all goes away when you win. It all goes away. And so they need to take care of business. But if they win and they win that division, they get a home playoff game, I think they'd be a dangerous team.
Baldy, I've been watching your breakdowns for as long as I remember. One day, I want to break down offensive line film with you and just fully nerd out.
Can he be the first Baldy's breakdowns intern?
I'll just be like a little nerd on the side.
Well, let me just say this. Let me ask you this. Like, what's your sleep cycle like? Can you go 15 hours? Do you need like a lot of Red Bulls?
No, I'm good. I usually just run off pure adrenaline and energy.
Just adrenaline. Okay. Because I mean, that's Sunday night, deep into the night after the games, whatever game I do. Then that's all day Monday and all day Tuesday. Then we come up for air on Wednesday, and then we dive back in, Thursday night and get going. You might be able to hang with that adrenaline for a day, but can you do that and sustain it for 18 straight weeks?
Yeah, I don't know. You're a different breed. You are a different breed.
Nah, he just wants to do a little. He just wants a week. He just wants a week.
Maybe even a day.
I can't Baldy. I can't Baldy. Do you find time to eat and drink? How much coffee are we consuming? How do you keep it going?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I work out at NFL Films, and EMAT is the chef down there. So they know they make my breakfast for me every morning. And then when I come down for lunch, they pack this lunch, whatever time, like it closes at 2 o'clock. And sometimes I can't get there at 2, but they store it for me like in this oven. And so then, they just have, and I just eat meat. So they just have all this meat for me in some form or another. I'm a carnivore. So, when you're a carnivore, you just eat meat. Like, honestly, it's like a tiger. It's just time to go to work. It's time to eat. So EMAT, like, he's my MVP, and they just feed me like that.
That's so awesome.
I don't want to give any free away, any ideas for free here, but I will say, kind of like what Coach Gruden did to find his assistant, I think you could make some great content, have like 20 guys that have to go through like your rigorous cycle. They have to break down film with you all the time, and you eliminate one once a week, tell them to get out of there. Last man standing gets to be your right-hand man. Just throwing it out there. I would watch it.
That would be awesome.
The disciples.
Yeah.
Baldy, what about this? When you look at all the teams entering the playoffs, so much of the NFL can be decided by who's peaking at the right time. Is there anybody jumping off a film that you would throw your weight behind in terms of they're carrying a lot of momentum into the final portion here?
No, the Texans have won 7 in a row. Jacksonville's won 6 in a row. Sometimes that stuff can be overrated. Think about Detroit last year. They were 15-2, and they looked unbeatable. And Washington went in there and put up 45 points on them, and at home. So sometimes it can be a little overrated. But honestly, right now, the way Houston's playing, if they score 20 points, I think they're 15-1 this year when they score 20. Wow. They would be if they scored 20. A couple games they couldn't score it. The offense was struggling early in the season. But if they put up 20 points right now, I don't know if anybody can beat them the way that defense is playing. I mean, Will Anderson he's a nice guy, so I hear. But he's the most violent player in this league. And he sort of sets the tone for Danielle Hunter and Darryl Stingley and Lassiter and Petrie and like the whole gang. Like they're just playing defense at a different level right now. That looks like a team right now that might be really hard to beat. Like that momentum that they have. Other teams have momentum right now. Like I said, Jacksonville has it. Other teams have it. But I don't know that anybody looks more dangerous to me because defensively, these playoff games are played differently. And if you're not scoring points on some of these possessions, like all of a sudden you start to panic a little bit, you get out of what you really want to do, and you just play right into their hands. And that's what's been going on in this league right now.
Hey, Baldy, obviously Steelers are going to be without DK Metcalf this week. What do they have to do to hang with the Ravens? And then, what do they got to do to beat them?
Well, what Myles Garrett said last week wasn't wrong when he said the Steelers were more concerned with stopping him from getting the sack record than winning the game. It's not wrong. I mean, if you go look down to that last stretch of plays where they threw to Marquez Valdez-Scantling and they were 0 for 3 against Denzel Ward with a chance to tie it up, I mean, their leading receiver is Kenneth Gainwell, and he's over there chipping on Myles Garrett. Like that ball in the last play, I'm not here to throw shade at Aaron Rodgers. But, if Aaron had looked over to his left and seen Kenneth Gainwell, nobody covered him. He would have walked into the end zone. Like when they played Baltimore week 14, the first play of the game, Aaron Rodgers threw a 52-yard bomb to DK Metcalf. Yeah. And that kind of got the thing started. They need explosive plays. Yeah. They're just not good enough. Honestly, with everything, with the players that they have, they're not good enough just to go 12 plays, 70 yards and score on any sort of consistent basis. They need the explosive plays. When they get them, they look like a pretty good offense. And when they don't get them, they look like they did last week against Cleveland.
Yeah.
So, Baldy, one of the best parts about working in this office is you just have a bunch of sports fans, a bunch of football fans. And what that leads to is a lot of in-office arguments. And every day, me and my producer, Jeremy, sit next to each other. I yell at him about Tyler Shuck. He continues to doubt him, not a franchise quarterback, but he's not watching the games, okay? You watch everything. What's your evaluation of the rookie quarterback down there in New Orleans? Sneaky good Falcons Saints team coming up, Saints game coming up this week, and a couple of hot NFC South teams, Baldy. Tell me about Shuck.
So I've been doing some breakdowns on him since the Miami game. They lost to Miami, but they played really well. And I woke up the next weekend to an executive of the Saints sending me a text, and he's like, "We're back. We're in Baldy's breakdowns. We're back." That's how they determined that they're back. He's won 4 in a row. Now you can debate the competition, all that kind of stuff. But you watch that guy just now. I understand Chris Olave, unfortunately, he's not going to play.
Dude, blood clots in the lungs.
Blood clots. I mean, that sounds serious to me. Like, that would scare me to death if that ever happened to me. But so let's prayers out to Olave, because he's had 5 touchdown catches in the last 5 games.
Yeah.
And he looks like Olave. And that's what great quarterbacks do. And I'm not going to call him great yet, but he's really good. It's interesting. I was in Metairie this summer. I went to the Saints camp. It was a Sunday practice, and Kellen Moore goes, "Baldy, you came to the right day." I go, "Why is that, Coach?" He goes, "We got a 128-play scrimmage. I want you guys to feel like what it's like to play 2 games back to back." I go, "Okay." So I stood behind him for 128 plays. Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck. I came away saying, Tyler Shuck's their guy, because it was a competition. I go, Tyler Shuck's their guy. And then he didn't start for whatever reason. But when you watch that guy throw football, you see his size. He's 6'5". He's 225, 30 pounds. He can really run, when he has to. He's got everything it takes. Now, people aren't excited that he's 25, 26 years old. I don't care. Like, that guy can throw a football. He knows how to look at a defense and really go through progressions. Like, he's a really smart player. It helps that you're in college for 7 years and you learned all this stuff and all these different programs. But I am convinced they have their quarterback for the future. They've won 4 in a row. Atlanta's won 3 in a row. This game could be a lot of fun. Saints defense, everybody's played better since Shuck came in there right now and it started playing like that.
Okay, what about this, Baldy? We talked about the AFC team peaking at the right time. You highlight the Texans. When you look at the NFC, there's also kind of a weird setup where your top 3 seeds are kind of new to the party in some ways, and then the bottom 3 seeds feel like you're kind of, your stalwarts. Who's maybe your favorite out of that side of the conference?
Well, I mean, Seattle's really good. They're just a really good team.
Yeah.
But Chicago, it's one of the teams you're talking about. I mean, the Bears here, the way that they can run the ball, the way that they take the ball away, those things, you're looking at Carolina, they were awful last week, just dreadful. But they have had dreadful games. So we'll see. And them in Tampa here tomorrow afternoon. We'll see what happens. Carolina's defense, Derek Brown is a very underrated player. He's as good a defensive tackle as there is in football. Almost had an interception last week. If they win the game, I don't think they're going to scare anybody. They're going to get a home playoff game, but Bryce Young is going to have to play a whole lot better than he played last week. I like Chicago in that 3 that you're talking about.
Wow.
Just because the commitment to the run, the way that they take the ball away consistently, lead the league in takeaways, and then the X factor is Ben Johnson and his ability to just subtly design offenses. It's like this. Good play callers, what they do is they establish a pattern, and then the defenses pattern read that. And then the good coordinators, they go pattern, break the pattern, big play. Like, he's a master at doing that. And it's like he knows where you're going to be based on what they have done and what they have shown you to do, and then he counters it. And that's what Kyle does. That's what, Shannon. I mean, these guys know how to do that. But Ben does it in really subtle, different ways. They ran for 280 yards against the Eagles on Black Friday. And nobody should be able to do that. And they did it. And they made it look pretty easy. So they're going to get Rome Odunze back, and I think that's Caleb's favorite target. They could be a fun team to watch in the postseason.
Brian Baldinger, Baldy's Breakdowns at Baldy NFL. Nobody knows more. Baldy, can't thank you enough for joining us this Friday, man. Happy New Year. Hope you had a great Christmas, and we'll talk to you next time.
Let's do it, guys. Enjoy this weekend, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Can't wait.
Happy holidays, guys.
Happy holidays, man. Absolute legend. Love Baldy. All right, when we get back here, a little smash or pass. Close out the week. 2026, here it is. It's snowing. What's happening? Welcome back to Wake Up Barstool. Very fun week here, guys. Happy New Year. Let's close out this Friday show. We got our Super Skillet Parlay, but first, it's time for some smash or pass.
So hungry.
Food. Smash or pass food.
Hungry.
New Year's Eve food is. Okay, let's go. A little shrimp and cocktail.
Smash.
Easy smash.
He's never had it.
No, I've never had
He's never had it.
I'll pass on it.
He's
I'm sure it's great.
I would be willing to bet he's not had anything on this list.
We'll see.
I'm going to be surprised.
To be fair, a lot on this list is I hadn't heard of something on this list.
Do you like shrimp cocktail, though?
Yeah.
Smash?
Yeah, smash.
The one thing, I love Dana.
It doesn't taste like water.
I vehemently disagree with Dana's take that shrimp cocktail just tastes like water.
No.
It's crazy. It tastes like shrimp.
Yeah.
Have you had St. Elmo's?
Yes.
I've always wanted it. I never
He
had.
said the horseradish.
It is a literal Mike Tyson left hook in your face.
There's nothing better. It's the absolute best. What?
Better than a left hook from Mike Tyson?
No, yes. Then when horseradish just makes you cry.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. All right, what's next? Black eyed peas. Smash. You got to cook them right, but absolutely
I've
smash.
never had these.
You cook them?
Smash.
Is this a southern thing, the black eyed peas and the collard greens?
Yeah, I think up north they do something different, but down south it's black.
I'd probably
It's
smash.
because health, wealth,
Like
and
beans,
prosperity is what
peas,
all they
Bro, you cook these things down in some bacon.
I almost just swore.
Megan
butter,
said she put andouille
andouille,
in there,
yeah.
which sounds fantastic. Smash.
Smash.
I only know Boom Boom Pow. I don't know anything about the actual food.
That was good.
Oh,
that was really
my
good.
God, that took me way too
was
long
really
to
good.
understand.
I like
All right, what is next?
Smash.
Yeah.
Smash.
Big T?
I have had this, Megan. I
I
promise you.
love a good spin arch.
Yeah.
Fried bow ties with spinach artichoke dip is elite.
Oh yeah, that's the restaurant down in Baton Rouge does that. They fry bow
Chimes?
tie. Yeah.
Oh.
They fry bow tie pasta
good.
and you dip it in there. It'll make you feel full though.
Oh, I don't care.
A lot of fried bow
Don't
tie
care.
pasta.
Is this a New Year's thing?
I don't know.
Spinach artichoke?
I don't know.
I think it's just like a casual, like picking
Some apps.
dish.
Okay, yeah.
I did. Yeah, me and my wife in high school used to go to Chili's all the time to get their spin. And it led to me telling her I loved her for the first time at a Chili's parking lot.
That's adorable.
You felt God in that chili.
I did. All right, what's next? Bruschetta.
Smash. I love bruschetta.
I'm gonna go.
Bruschetta.
I'm actually gonna go pass here. Not because I dislike it. I'm just very neutral on it.
I love
This
it.
is a tomato-centric dish,
But
correct?
you have the balsamic vinegar. You
Yeah.
have usually like a piece of fresh mozz on there. Oh,
Not the biggest
God, that
tomato
does sound
fan,
really
but
good. I mean, yeah.
fresh
I'll pass.
basil.
Yeah, I guess I just don't eat enough bruschetta because you're right. Like, I mean,
Bruschetta.
balsamic vinegar is just.
Just think about being
so
in the sun, like after a pool day, and someone just comes out with a plate of bruschetta and a little lemonade or
rather
something
eat
on the side.
Doritos.
Oh,
After a long day at the pool.
That's the game here. You know, this or Doritos. You know,
That would be a good
that should be the new.
That's a
segment.
very good game. All right, what's next?
spinach artichoke dip with the Doritos.
smash.
So this is I've never heard of this in my
Never
life.
had it.
Tuna dip is one of my favorite things in the entire world. I love smoked tuna dip. It's
I've been eating a lot of crab dip lately.
smoked crab dip, fantastic.
I don't know if you could put a dip in front of me that I'm going to say no to.
100%.
Fair.
I love dips.
There's only one that I've tried recently, the Mexican street corn dip. Didn't like it.
I didn't like it. Look.
What? I didn't like the dip. It tasted like the Taco Bell quesadilla sauce, but just quesadilla sauce.
What's so bad about that?
And it's like, I'd drink it.
Ow. What's wrong with that, baby?
Smash the smoked
Yeah, I'm
fish.
smashing for sure.
What do we got next? Oh, that's it. There we
I
go.
smashed them all.
Smashed them all. There we
Love
go. All right, let's get into our super skillet parlay, guys. Here, super. As we got an extra leg here. It looks like we win homer. A lot of us, at least. Meg.
Yeah, I went with the Bills. I already said why I took them in the teaser earlier. Again, they're playing the Jets. Josh Allen. They need seeding. -6.5.
Yeah. God, the Jets are bad. Connor.
I was looking to see what Tanner McKee's passing yards over/under was. I was going to roll with that. Tanner McKee, I know the backups are playing for the Eagles. I think he's leading this offense to a win, a resounding one over Washington.
Big T, is this going down today?
Yeah, this afternoon, Navy -7.5 against Cincinnati. I forget what bowl game that is. It might be Armed Forces Bowl.
No Sorsby for Cincy.
Correct. They're missing
Shout out Sorsby, I love you.
And you want to see teams that still care about these bowl games, the service academies. They
Always
win
do.
these games. Liberty
great
Bowl in
call,
Memphis.
Big T.
I'll take a real quick note here. Bowl games, fighting back this week.
Yes.
I thought the bowl games were very fun for the most part this week, even the run-up to the quarterfinals. Shout out Brandon Walker. The Bulldogs going to be in the Mayo Bowl today.
Also, Navy just puts up points.
Yeah. Horvath's awesome, and so is Heidenreich. All right, Katie.
I'm going with the Steelers.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we're playing down there on the North Shore in Pittsburgh, so I'm going with them.
God, that's a great accent.
Yeah.
That is
Like my dad.
fantastic.
Steelers.
Yeah, I'm just going Homer as well, even though I remembered and then I forgot about the Olave blood clot. That makes me feel terrible about this pick. Because the Falcons are playing well.
Yes, they're the best team in the NFL when it doesn't matter.
Yeah, when they get eliminated from the playoffs, they become the best
Just
in the
keep on
NFL.
shucking, okay? Just
Keep on shucking. That's right, baby. You know who's actually playing well? Chase Young. He's playing awesome. He's got like 8.5 sacks, I think, in 11 games since his return from injury, including that play last week. Shout out Chase Young. Who dat, baby? Toe shook. Guys, that's it. Mikey, you were so disciplined. No going out last night after the Indiana game.
Luke and Cam, you're watching this at home. Get ready to day drink, boys.
Oh! All right, we'll see you Monday, guys.